to you every week from no place in particular. This is the Forever Road podcast, featuring Bosco. He's a music lover, a historian, and a connoisseur of the obscure. Find us on some great platforms like iHeart, Spotify, and even more as we keep growing. Now, pointed down the Forever Road, here's Bosco.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the best, worst thing you've never seen. Forever Road podcast. I am Bosco, and there somewhere is Brother Turtle. He's having camera issues. He's kind of in and out, but I think we still got sound. And join with us. Turtle, sound off.
Bark, bark.
And join with us this week. We have a special guest from the bar that's open with Greg and Beth. Or
Beth and Greg.
Beth and Greg.
Yep. You're good. No worries.
Okay.
Bar is open podcast.
Or Bars Open podcast, or just Greg, or Greg and the big guy.
Baldy and the big guy. I do a lot.
Baldy and the big guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was trying
All
to remember
sorts
what
of
we
fun.
talked about this. Anyway, Greg, let me make
Try
sure I
it.
pronounce this correctly.
All right.
La Montagne.
You got it. Nailed it. Just got to say it slow. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah,
it.
man.
Thanks for having me
Pretty
on. I
good.
appreciate it, man. Both of you guys.
What's the
Pretty good
origin?
with GED, huh?
What's the origin? It is French. My family came out of Quebec, down into New Hampshire, into New England, Maine, and then down into New Hampshire. And that's where my whole family still lives.
Damn, if I didn't hit the nail on the head, that one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, half of it anyways.
Absolutely.
I was thinking a little more Southern French.
Well, my mom's from, so we also have Roy in our
Roy.
family.
French Creole.
And Creole, exactly. That's my mom was from or was born in Louisiana. So
My
yeah.
father was born in Louisiana.
Oh.
Our name is a French derivative of a Romanian last name, but his mother's side of the family is actually from Natchitoches, Alexandria, back and forth.
nice. Good times.
Oh yeah,
I have Creole roots.
that doesn't count if your boots are made in Louisiana.
No. My DNA, ancestry DNA, traced it back to the Creole Louisiana settlers and all that. I was like, oh, that explains a lot. Why I like my food spicy all the time.
It's good. Took
Yeah.
me a while to get that down. I wasn't a spicy guy. Growing up in New Hampshire, man, I didn't have an avocado until I was like 15. That was about as spicy as I got when I was a kid.
Wow. Wow.
New Hampshire's
Well-
a little different place.
There's different as far as food goes, and in fact, yeah, there's different southern foods as you go, like from Georgia to Tennessee, Georgia to Alabama. Maybe Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi are probably about the same, but once you get into Louisiana and Texas, it's a whole different style of food.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the area that they're in too, and how landlocked. Like for Georgia, we're pretty much landlocked except for that one tiny part of the eastern seaboard. But look at Florida. You go from ocean side to Gulf side. The cuisine is named the same, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
And then the same crab cakes in Florida, no matter where you're at on the coast, is going to be completely different from Louisiana or Texas.
Yeah, or go up the East Coast. It's gonna be different from
And that's what I was about
Maryland or
to say.
something.
Or
like
Maine.
that. Mhm.
Yeah, Maine.
Yeah, it's going to be completely different. That's why there's two different clam chowders.
Exactly. The white one's the best.
Yes, thank you. I'm not from the north, so I didn't want to upset you.
Oh, I'm good. I'm not a big Manhattan clam chowder
Oh,
guy.
God,
That's the
I'm
red
not a
one.
big tomato fan, so no.
I think we've derailed the podcast already.
Oh yeah, a little bit. But I mean,
This is
whatever.
every
That's
podcast.
how it goes, though. That's my podcast as well. It's like there is intent, and then there is what happens.
It's like the first 5-10 minutes of every podcast is just, hey, blah 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 blah.
Good stuff.
Barf of information.
Yeah. So what did everybody do this past week? How's everybody's week? Now that we're in the first week of the new year.
Good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to work. My full-time gig. And then my wife's birthday was Friday. So we took kind of full-time week. My wife's birthday was Friday, so we just kind of hung out. And the year's kicked off. It's been an interesting year. We don't need to get into all that other stuff that's going on, but it's pretty wild when you think about like everything in the world. That's why I'm really happy to come on and talk about some really cool stuff with you. That's not all of the other bullshit politics and everything, and that's kind of the purpose of like my best podcast is to talk about fun, entertaining things rather than bullshit that's on the mainstream media. So
yeah, I mean that's why I stay away from politics, and I stay away from a lot of the religion. I mean, I'm Christian, and I'll put that out there, but am I gonna hate anybody else for not being a Christian? No. But,
yeah, of course not.
There again, I won't tolerate anybody hating on anybody else for being a Christian.
Right.
But
that makes sense.
Aside from that, it's my podcast, it's automotive and music and whatever else we talk about.
That's awesome.
How
about you, Turtle? How was your week so far?
Let's see.
It's my first time meeting you as well.
Sunday.
Which is awesome.
Yes, I am Turtle, the infamous, also known as the God Turtle.
Oh.
It has been a pretty chill week, but this is probably going to be my last chill week of the season. I'm a mechanic at a bowling alley.
Okay.
And I work nights, and this between the middle of January and anywhere from the middle of April to the middle of May is what we consider our busy season.
Okay.
And the reason why it's that way, for those that may not understand, is because you figure between Thanksgiving and New Year's, it's party season.
Yeah.
So people would be going out and partying and having a good time. Most of them aren't taking their kids with them. So they're not going to the bowling alley.
What's rule number one?
So it starts to die out, right? But then after that, now their kids are back in school. They have to find things to do with the whole family again.
Where are you at, Turtle?
In Warner Robins, Georgia.
Okay. Is it cold there? Is it like an indoor, you go indoor and do stuff, or is it warm? I'm trying to think like New England, we would go bowling because it was cold as shit out.
No. It's not like that around here.
Okay.
Like it doesn't, we're in the middle of Georgia and it does get cold here. It has snowed. It's been a few years, but it does get cold. But when I tell you it's cold for us,
it's like Texas. It's like 40. Right.
Well, I mean, it's been cold for us and we're talking 30 and 28.
Okay. That's same as us. That's same.
But I was saying like, cause you're from the north, right?
But I live in South Texas now. I'm in San Antonio.
I didn't know that part.
Okay, yeah, I'm in San Antonio.
Thinking the north part, I wasn't going to sit here and say, yeah, it's freaking.
Oh no. Yeah, no. I'm in San Antonio.
Well, how cold?
Texas,
and I tell you it's 28. You're like, that's
no
weather.
I lived in Phoenix, Arizona for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I moved to Texas, and we get like 2 cold days there, and like we get some cold breaks here and stuff like that. But I talked to my brother back in New England, and he's like, you don't have any idea, dude. You've been gone for too long. Like, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But
I did get to see snow before the end of the year, though. But
nice.
I was in Montana.
Yeah,
I was in Montana for a week.
Get it.
It's awesome.
I mean, just last week we could have drove up to Jackson. That's how low the snow got.
Yeah.
Which is
remember
what
I was Greg.
Remember
I was telling you. Do what?
I said that's like what 45 minutes up the highway. And it was actually snow. We got barely rain.
Yeah, we were supposed to get this big snow blizzard and
Snowmageddon.
Oh my God. Everybody going to get Everybody going to get ice.
City shuts down.
Yeah, schools
pockets,
were out.
Go get your milk and bread so you can make
That
milk
happens here.
sandwiches.
Yeah, that happens here.
Yeah,
City shuts down.
it's
So
a
you're
cultural thing.
so you were saying, Turtle, about like being a mechanic at a bowling alley.
Yes.
Like, it makes sense, but I had never thought about being like, there's actually a mechanic for a bowling alley.
Yeah.
That's
Somebody
the thing.
has to be in the back where the big machines are that
Or like processing
resets all the pins and, doing the ball return. Those things come apart. I mean,
I had
it's
never thought about
aluminum, steel, wood, and plastic.
Yep.
Plastic breaks, aluminum bends, steel rust and rot and breaks, and then wood. Well, actually, surprisingly enough, the only thing on the lanes that's wood that we have to replace all the time is the pins.
Interesting.
They're wood core. Most of the time are ash with a plastic coating over it. And as far as the wood, like the main frame of the machines is actually wood, and we never have to do anything with that. I'm 45 this year, and I've never in all of my 45 years seen any of those panels ever get replaced.
Interesting. That's cool. It's small kind of side note. My family grew up bowlers. My grandfather owned a bowling alley in Hampton, New Hampshire called Lafayette Lanes like a million years ago. And so that's parents were both, that's where my parents met, at the bowling alley.
Nice.
Their parents were both on bowling leagues, and then they met all from the same town. Kind of crazy. Lafayette Lanes.
I actually used to do the same job Turtle does now, but same company, but different machines. I think they were Brunswick machines.
Yeah, bro. No, you had the y'all had 7280s or something like that. You had the old machines, and then they stepped up and got the 8290s.
I find like this fascinating. Like, you guys are mechanics, obviously doing different things, and for me, it's like the history of and understanding stuff like that. So,
well, we're both automotive mechanics as well. Too.
On top of that,
I'm a certified Chrysler tech, and he's mostly certified diesel, but you're certified others as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right on. So that's how you guys.
He was. We worked together at a Dodge dealership. I was a mechanic, and he was the parts guy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And that's kind of how we met, was going back and forth, giving each other shit. Because, I'm the guy that actually does all the work. He's just
of course.
He's just the guy at the parts store that doesn't even know what he's talking
Holds
about.
it up.
Yeah. This? No, dude, that's a wrench, not a knuckle. Get out of here. Yeah.
Those are great.
This is not your spark plug?
Is that a 9mm, 10mm?
It's not even a.
Is this a wrench? But no, and the funny thing is,
your 10mm? Oh,
yeah.
When I started at 5-Star, I was, because I applied for both, for parts and for where he was at in the shop, and then the parts manager called me first for an interview, and I told him, I said, well, I got an interview with the shop. He was like, "Yeah, don't worry about service department. You'll make more money in the parts." I was like, "Okay."
Hell with it, right?
Yeah, I was like, "All right." I know how to be a mechanic, but it was during that healing process. I was waiting to get cleared from the doctor so I can go back to being corrections officer.
Okay.
I was waiting for that clearance, from the doctor. So I had to do something. I had to make some money.
Yeah.
And I went and did parts for a while again. And then when I got the all clear, I was like, I'm going, see y'all. Then round right back up into diesel mechanics through another buddy of mine. And I don't know if you knew Turtle. I don't know if do you remember Alan Fisher?
Alan, I vaguely remember, but I thought it was through EJ that you got that job.
No, so but he was like, man,
because EJ was there for a month when I got there. He was only there for another month, and he was gone. And he was only there for like 3 days out of that whole month.
Oh yeah,
that was right when he was leaving 5-Star to go out there to Macon. But
I was
real quick,
super pissed with
Real quick, Greg, you want to talk about nostalgia? I don't know if you'll really be able to see this.
Let's see.
I'm sure you'll remember one of these.
Brunswick Black Beauty. Yeah.
That's my 12-pound Black Beauty ball from the early 80s.
Nice.
Still have it.
My brother has it's somewhere in my house. My brother passed away a long time ago, right? And my parents got him a bowling ball for Christmas or for his birthday or Christmas, and I have it somewhere, and it's Black Beauty.
Nice.
And it's in a closet somewhere in my house. Yeah,
I've got several of my old ones.
I haven't seen one of those since. I haven't even thought about it in years. It's because we move, and I'm just never going to get rid of it.
Just pick it up, put it in another box, move it somewhere else.
It's in a closet somewhere next to his trumpet.
I found that when I had to go clean out my mom and dad's house when my dad moved out.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
my week has been great.
Nice.
It's been really, really chill. But I'm sure this coming week is going to be hell on wheels.
Everybody's getting back to the alley.
But I get a bowling discount, so I show up an hour earlier and get to throw 3 games for like $5.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like $5 a game.
I haven't been bowling forever.
It depends on where I move. When I sell this house, I might end up just hanging out over at Turtle's job until he gets off. I get off work at 4, so I work 6 to 4 Monday through Thursday. And then
I go to work at 4
Sunday.
Nice.
He goes to work at 4, and I'll just go over there and hang out. Hey, man.
Have a couple beers, hang out. Yeah.
I was waiting for that camera to kick.
Oh, man. So we have this past week has been pretty interesting. We've got one president laid to rest. A birthday for a king, and we lost one soul singer. And I just saw this on the Allman Brothers Museum, the Big House Museum's Facebook page that one of their longest serving. I'll just put this out there first. Their longest serving volunteer at the Big House, Miss Janice, had passed away. I don't know when. I don't know the details, but I did notice that while I was kind of waiting on everybody to get their cameras and all that stuff going. But I will put that out there, rest easy, Miss Janice. The Big House Museum is one of those 501c3 nonprofit museums, and everybody that works there is volunteer based. And if you you have a heart and a love for the museum, I did it for 2 years.
Oh, nice.
But if you have a heart and a love for that music, the Allman Brothers Band, and everything that's associated around it, and know enough about the history, or even if you just want to go up there and hang out,
just check it out.
Yeah,
definitely.
I did a video not too long ago from the Big House, just kind of walked through and did a whole on camera, holding my phone, walking around, video. It's on on our YouTube channel. But
nice.
Yep.
And then I rode out to where Greg and Dwayne were buried, and I think I hit a few other places, but I had to navigate my big old truck through this little bitty Rose Hill Cemetery, and I was like, "This
Rose Hill,
I can't do this." Rose Hill Cemetery, and my jacked up 4-wheel drive Dodge Ram, and little bitty roads that were built for carriages.
Yeah,
roads
are 6 foot wide and single lane. And there's no prescribed direction of which you're supposed to go. So you just kind of have to guess and try and be, respectful.
Not cut corners too tight, and because it's all squared off.
Very narrow, yeah.
Our family
cemetery, but his truck is 8 foot wide, so
oh shit,
yeah,
that's pushing it.
Yeah.
Some of those are right up against the road, or a 2 foot offset or something.
Not even that.
Yeah, dude.
If they're off by 6 inches.
You're like, I don't want to take out this gravestone from 1772.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of the old ones in there are 1700s. I think.
I was gonna say that's my New England. Yeah, Hampton. Yeah, same deal. That's wild.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'll go back and check that one out. That sounds great.
Oh yeah. But yeah,
we'll have to do that one day.
Yeah, we do need to. Miss Janice, one of the longest serving volunteers from the Allman Brothers Band Museum. Y'all see my sign behind me above my head.
Yep.
The Allman Brothers, that's the the road goes on forever. But yeah, so Miss Janice, I remember meeting her. She was a sweet lady, very helpful around the big house. And if anybody, and not only Greg, I'll give you an open invite. I can give you a grand tour of making music history, not just the Allman Brothers, but everything associated.
That's awesome.
Take it right into Capitol Records and everything.
Nice.
But yeah, if you get a chance, come to Macon, Georgia, go to the Allman Brothers Band Museum at the Big House. That's the official title. And just see what it's all about. You have to see it
right on.
to really
Be there. Yeah.
And they actually lived in that house when they were living in Macon. That's the house that they lived in. Where the museum is.
Okay. It's not just another building that they built,
No.
Then went and got and then started
No.
putting it's the house.
this
No,
was
that's the house.
That's cool.
it started out, and we'll cover that part. I have a problem with doing a total Allman Brothers Band episode because it would have to be broken up in maybe 3 or 4 parts, and I haven't had time to sit down and go, okay, how am I going to do this? But when they first got into the Big House, it was the girls, Barry Oakley's wife, Big Linda, as everybody knows her as, Big Linda, and his sister Candy, and Dwayne's wife at the time, Donna. They all were looking for, we got to find somewhere to live. We got kids, so and they found this big. I think at the time it was built in the 1800s.
Oh shit!
And they found this big 3-story Dutch colonial, and they all moved in there. Of course, you can go back and find on all their videos and stuff, interviews with Greg Allman, and he does his own little tour and talks about when they lived there and all that. And then he's like, well, it looked like a bunch of hippies lived here. So they had to basically, and if you read his book, My Cross to Bear, it says basically you have to pick up the house and clean it out and then put it back down and, sanitize it. But it's very beautifully done. The downstairs is all their memorabilia, music, drums, guitars, and all the posters and all that stuff. And then upstairs is where they lived.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you going to share that?
Yeah, show them the Big House. That's the Big House.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's almost like Swiss kind of inspired, right? Like
Dutch.
Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah,
it's Dutch colonial.
It's a Dutch colonial.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yep. And every time, the weird thing is like, especially if you know the music and know the history, then you walk right in that front door, right there in the center. There's a big gate that they made.
Oh, that's right behind you. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's That's
on the gate to the side entrance, the road on the side entrance.
That's wild, huh?
Yep.
That's cool.
But you go in there, man, and for me and many other fans, I'm sure, it just feels like you're at home. It's just like
it hugs you.
Okay. You don't care anything about what's happening out there.
You just kind of get pulled in and start just walking around, and
it feels like
checking
home.
Everything out. Yeah, that's cool. That's amazing.
I mean, then again, you've got the idea that you're walking into what is being called a museum, but when you walk in, it still looks and feels like a home because they still have furniture in there. I mean, downstairs is predominantly just museum stuff. There is some furniture down there.
Is there like caretakers that stay there, or do they close it up? It's like a business.
They close it up.
They do. Okay.
Yeah, they close it up.
Because there's no like open rooms for.
That's what I was going to say. Is there like does somebody stay there?
Yeah, there's displayed in every room you could possibly get into. I think the bathroom is the only thing you can't really go in and look at. You can see it at an angle through doors, but you can't like get to it to see it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's beautiful. Definitely look it up online if you can't make it out here. Because
because I've like I said, and I still know folks up there, and it was like, and they even told me that because I went in there, I think sometime in November. Yeah, and usually I go up there on my birthday, and they, the guy was like, "I didn't see you on your birthday, man. You everything okay?" I was like, "Wow."
Keeps an eye on you. Yeah, he's keeping track.
So it was pretty cool, and I was like, "You don't care if I, shoot this video for my podcast?" And they were like, "Nah, man, go ahead." And originally, when I started this podcast, it was going to be called the Road Goes On Forever podcast.
Okay.
That just, to me, it seemed like it was a lot to say.
Yeah.
So and initially I got all excited. I reached out to the museum, and then they reached out to the brother's road manager, or their manager, whoever it was. I don't remember the guy's name right off the top of my head. And then I got a call back a couple days later. They were like, "Yeah, man, you're good. Name it if you want to name it that. That's fine by us. Go ahead, do your thing." I was like,
"Nice,
sweet." But when I went to record this for the first time, I'm saying it, and of course I'm messing up the line, laughing at myself. Delete, start over.
I've been there a couple hundred times,
and and I kept writing stuff down, kept writing the words down, and I guess now my ex-wife, I gave her the words, and we just we sat there for, I think like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And we just kept writing the words down, kept flip-flopping words and all that. And I came up with Forever Road, and I was like, "What do you think?" And she goes, "I don't know, say it and record it and then play it back and see how it sounds." So I did that, and I was like, "Oh, I like that."
Like a catch to it. Yep.
Had that little snap.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking
that bright idea snap. You're like, oh.
The light bulb actually clicks on.
Bing. So I was thinking initially Lost Highway. I needed something that incorporates like the road, because it's automotive and music. There's got to be something in that, So we wrote down lists, and I was like, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna. And we settled on Forever Road. Kind of a play on the whole.
He didn't like my original idea.
What was that?
Only dads.
I mean, it's a good play. I can see the T-shirt and the merch sales there. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Bad guys on stripper poles.
Yeah, dude. Like, there's all sorts of opportunity there, but might have been taken already.
We do that as our other hobby. We got truck parts to pay for.
Yeah.
Well, you have Jeep parts to pay for.
We do construction boot pictures.
Right. This is like a toe sticking through it.
Yeah.
A worn out shoe.
It's got the clapper front end. It's still steel toe, but it just kind of flaps around a little bit. Got duct tape on it.
Duct tape wrap. Yeah.
4 or 5 different colors of it.
Yep.
One piece of painter's tape with your name on it. He knows who boots they are. Because you're still broke and live with your brother.
Boots don't pay for themselves.
Speaking of the Allman Brothers Band, who also was a big instrumental part of getting this, which we lost him a couple weeks ago. And they just laid him to rest last week. Mr. Jimmy Carter was finally laid to rest in Plains, Georgia. And that was a big deal. They shut down roads, and I actually watched listened to most of the funeral procession.
Yeah.
Christian man of God, he was doing his work at his church there at the tail end. Well, I think his whole life, really.
That guy built more houses than anybody I know for charity, kind of thing.
He bought farmland to keep farmland open and to create jobs for people.
Excuse me. Right. So, I mean, he did some great things. He his political side of things was a little whatever, but we can push that off over there and be like, let's talk about the man himself, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the piece with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's called. It's and you're from a military family. I am too, and so is Turtle. And like, do we really call a spade here? Go, hey man. What
He's
about the
dead
hostages,
now. I mean,
homie?
like, it's no big deal. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it is what it is. He was a president. Still got give him his. It is what it is. I wasn't paying attention to politics back then. You know what I mean? Like I had nothing nothing to say about it. Other people have more shit to talk about, and that's fine. They can, but I don't. It's all good. I like the peanut farmer, dude. After you told me you were going to go down, like you're going to talk about it real quick, I started looking at his family. His family had like, hundreds of acres of peanut farms and stuff like that. And, all sorts of that. Cause I've always heard he was like a big peanut farmer. And I was like, I've never looked it up once in my entire life until today. Right.
Yep.
So, it's cool. He's done a lot more good in his life. He really did.
And it's weird to know that here's this. I don't even know what religion he was. Anybody know? Let's see.
I mean, I imagine.
I would think Baptist.
I'm looking. Yeah, I don't know specifically. Christian of some sort, I would imagine. I'm looking through his Wikipedia, but it's not necessarily going to say. Yeah. But again,
he was a lifelong Christian. Okay.
Here we go.
Anyway, so
he made it to 100 years old, bro.
I mean,
questionably to 100. Like,
I'm just gonna say this: regardless of your views, he beat out Betty White.
God, Betty White, R.I.P. She was kind of hot when she was in her late 90s. I'm telling you,
her attitude made her hot.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right,
he was like
the Cavalier.
Which one?
Right?
What day is it?
Everybody loved Betty White, right?
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like she was awesome. Everybody knows that. He didn't make it as far as Jimmy did. I'm just saying.
God damn.
Just saying.
Jimmy Carter.
He was a good man for a farmer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter
of fact, not too far from Plains is a place called Fitzgerald, Georgia. That's where my family.
Where was it? What was the name of it?
Fitzgerald.
Oh, Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald.
Like JFK. Fitz.
Yeah.
John Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Fitzgerald, Georgia. I got roots down there too, but anyway.
They're rotten.
He was so if it wasn't, there again, there's some music tie in there, and I always try to somehow tie in almost every episode with the Allman Brothers band, as it was pointed out before.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter, he didn't have like the Beatles from Liverpool or somebody from New York City or Hollywood doing his concerts. He actually hung out with the Allman Brothers band.
Yeah,
really?
Down to earth, grassroots from Georgia boys.
He would have been in his 40s, I guess, back then, right? Right?
Yeah.
Something like whatever. So that makes sense. 20s? So, but if he was in his 30, kind of like that age, like 20 to 40, something like that, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they were
because
20s?
Yeah, the brothers and everybody, yeah.
Yeah, they were in their 20s when they moved here.
Yeah. Because when he was governor, he was friends with Phil Walden, the president of Capricorn Studios. So he goes to Phil and he goes, I think I'm gonna run for president. And then Phil goes, president of what? He said, look, man, we're gonna be broke before our whatever they need, the money and all that. But do you mind running some fundraisers for our campaign? And Phil was like, yeah, man. So, you go to this campaign rally and the Allman Brothers Band, Marshall Tucker Band, and Wet Willie, and I don't know if you know any other names really, Greg, but Marshall Tucker Band, Allman Brothers Band, Wet Willie, Charlie Daniels Band, Leonard Skinner be up on stage,
Wet Willie's the only one I didn't catch in that list. I don't know. I don't have any reference for them for some reason.
And I'm trying to think of the other one.
Google it.
Elvin
Yeah,
Bishop.
that's what I'm like. I'm all about Googling shit as soon as I get off this show, right, dude? I got a notepad right over here. I start writing notes and shit.
He said another name I didn't recognize. I recognized everything but one of them. I can't remember what it was. But he said
Elvin
it, and I
Bishop?
was like, who?
Elvin Bishop.
No. You were
Wet
naming
Willie?
off- No, I remember Wet Willie. They got a bar in Savannah named after Wet Willie.
No shit. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's called Wet Willie's.
That's awesome. That's a great name for a bar. That's a great name for a band, I guess.
And guess what kind of drinks they serve?
Wet drinks.
All of them.
Oh, nice.
So,
Good, just making sure. I was like, I don't know.
They're like slushies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. That's
I
cool.
thought that was Pineapple Willie's. Or is that on
It
Toddy?
might be now because Wet Willie's having their name, they didn't okay it with Wet Willie.
so they had to redo. They had to.
They may have just been like, you know what, screw it. We've already made our $1 million. Sell the company.
Right?
They started in Savannah and they've got one I know they've got two in Florida, one in St. Augustine, I think one down in Daytona. And then I think there's another one.
Those are perfect places for a slushy.
They're all on the coast.
Place. Yeah,
I
that
think
makes
the
sense.
up in North Carolina, I think.
That's awesome.
Maybe it's Myrtle Beach that it might be up there. That sounds better anyways.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out what name I mentioned that.
That's what I was trying to.
You just rifled off like 6 names.
Yeah.
I pretty much, you said almond. Yeah,
Marshall
it's all good.
Tucker, Charlie
I've heard-
Daniels, Leonard Skinner, Allman Brothers,
Wet Willie.
Wet Willie, and then there was one or two others. And I can't remember what you said, but one of those names, I was like, "What? Wait, what?" And I was about to Google it, and I can't remember. I couldn't remember what he said, and then we started talking about it, and now my ADD brain forgot
That's how
half of those names again.
Yeah.
Elvin Bishop.
Yeah, but I know that name.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I was saying. It's like, I don't even remember what you said, but if I even remembered what you said, I still wouldn't know what they. Yeah, exactly. Gone.
The Outlaws, Marshall Tucker Band, Allman Brothers Band, Charlie Daniels.
Or maybe I just heard you say something because you were talking so fast.
Is that what happened?
I went through it back through it mentally, and I was writing it down and going, "What did I say?" Because I don't.
He's making shit up in his head, Bosco.
No, it's
he heard something that he didn't actually say.
We were talking about Louisiana earlier, and I've got a great uncle that used to talk like nobody can understand. And I thought that's what he was doing. It's probably what it was. My brain was like,
You're interpreting things.
Yeah.
Turtle's like, yeah, man, you want to see homos naked? It's whatever, dude.
Salami, bacon. I don't know. Pastrami.
You ever seen the movie Joe
Provolone.
Dirt?
Of course.
Oh.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, no, man.
Yep.
I always think of the assistant coach from Waterboy.
Same dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same dude.
I do that to my wife all the time. She'd be like, "What the fuck did you just say?" I'm like, I don't know.
I do it too, but I'm not trying. It's usually after a few drinks.
But yeah, so if it wasn't for you had some Southern outlaw rockers that were on stage and promoting this Southern president, and the only president in history from the state of Georgia. I mean, Andrew Jackson from Tennessee, but we ain't got to talk about him because we all know what he did.
Almost had Herschel Walker as a governor, so.
Yeah, senator, wasn't it?
Senator, governor. I'm just glad it didn't happen.
Lord. Talk about folks you can't understand. Okay.
Like,
I mean, I love the man to death. I've met him in person. He's a great guy, but Shaquille O'Neal should not be in politics either. He's even said it. I'm not smart enough for politics.
yeah, neither am I.
I am, but nobody likes.
I'd get way
politics.
too. Yeah, I'd get in too much trouble.
Yep.
Probably. I'd be like, "You're being censored again, or censured again."
Censured.
Yep.
With me, it'd be like, you're getting fired again.
Your constituents hate you all of a sudden.
Don't have a filter, and I don't care about your
That's how I
feelings.
am. And the older I get, the
more it happens.
less filtery I am.
Oh, no. There is no more filter. It's gone. There's this thing called control.
A little bit.
And love of freedom.
That's
What
it.
little I have left.
All right. So we also lost somebody 2 days ago, January 10th. Y'all know I love R&B type music and the blues, and that's kind of like where my heart and soul is at. Born October 12th, 1935 in Miami, Florida. Died January 10th, 2025. 2 days ago.
Yep.
Sam Moore from the band, the group R&B duo Sam and Dave. If y'all can know, but it was a member of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Grammy Hall of Fame for the song Soul Man. And he was with Sam and Dave were together from 61 to 81. Began his career singing gospel tunes and playing the Florida R&B circuit. And being a black artist back in the 60s in Florida, we know the times.
Might not have been as easy.
Yeah. But he was 89.
See, dude.
So, y'all know any Sam and Dave music that you?
I was looking. I guarantee I've heard it. And then when you were saying, what was the name of the song? I was just pulling it up. Also, I was looking at the Wikipedia. Soul Man. Everybody knows Soul. Yeah, right. Double Dynamite, the Sultans of Sweat, like Dynamic Duo. They have all of these amazing songs that now, like, I think it's just I'm a little bit older and I kind of didn't grow up listening to it necessarily. But yeah, I'm like, absolutely, I've heard probably all of their songs at one point or another, especially with my parents listening to that type of music and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
you got like an old soul for music if you're into this type of music. You know what I mean?
I'm
48. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 48, and it's like I didn't grow up with. I didn't outside of my parents listening to some this type of music. I didn't really.
I had like my uncle that I had my Uncle John on here before, which I think I need to bring him back on. I want to do a Led Zeppelin episode at some point, and just because good God, Led Zeppelin. But they were the ones that brought me to the hard rock stuff like Zeppelin, and in that genre,
Was it in the backyard by a bonfire?
No.
In the garage,
riding around in their car.
Yeah.
Or sitting in the bedroom. Here, listen to this.
Quit your wine. Listen to this rock music.
Yeah. Because they lived out of town, so anytime they'd come to Middle Georgia and go, here, I got this. You need to listen to this.
Check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would get the early on. But like Mom loved Janis Joplin and the R&B stuff, the old school R&B stuff. And then like their sister, my aunt, she would ride around. We would ride around back in the day. We had an oldie station here in town.
99 Waves.
Is that what the name of the station was? 99 Waves. That's cool.
That's what it was called at the time before it turned into a country station.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It happens. Yeah.
Country.
No, that was actually country back then.
Pop rock. Country.
It was still
back in the day, it might have been country.
No. Yeah, it was like it went off the air as a country station in the early 90s. Okay. So you still had Travis Tritt. This is, Garth Brooks,
George Strait, all those guys.
George Strait is still up there.
Yeah.
It was still country music back then. Yeah. It's about the end of it, but it was still country music.
Yeah, it was towards the end of it was still, and like, but they took over the oldie station and we were just riding around for hours because my aunt was all about some road trip, bro.
Try and get lost kind of road trips, whatever it is.
Where does this go?
Yep,
And
that's
that's-
how
yeah,
I was
and-
when I grew up.
I was, and I know I'm not. This is not a very, very big famous opinion, but my honest opinion, I think the Beatles were an overrated pop band.
I hate the Beatles, so
Okay,
I don't hate them,
I hate them.
but I don't think I think
I
they're
understand
overhyped.
what they did. They
And
were
that's
the
why I'm
first
saying
boy band. I understand that.
and that's why I'm saying I don't hate them.
I can't.
That's
I'm
the
like,
reason why. That's the
"Bleh."
reason why I say I don't hate them. I don't agree with them. I don't like them. I'm not a big fan of them.
All right, so maybe hate's a little rough, but that's
maybe
kind of,
not. But maybe not.
if
For
it comes
you.
on this station, I'm trying to like punch.
If they
my
walked
radio
into
for
my
that.
house and they were in their 20s, I'd just punch them in the face because they're a bunch
Paul
of crybabies.
McCartney, I mean, like Ringo, I'm like,
They were just a bunch of crybabies
yeah.
throwing tantrums and getting paid for it. If I did that, I'm going to a hospital.
Yeah, nah, not anymore. Just move to California. It'd be fine.
No, I can't move to California.
I'm just kidding. They're not legally. I'm not allowed in California.
No, I'm allowed in California, but then I'd have to leave my kids here. My kids aren't allowed
yeah,
in California. I don't want them being tortured.
No, I agree with that.
I was raised in California, so
Back in the day, it used to be cool though.
yeah, you could walk
Not
to the
too
beach
long
from your
ago
house.
was awesome. I do like California. I just don't
Yeah.
like California.
I just don't like where it's located.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can move the beaches of California over here to the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing.
Southern California is amazing.
Yes. And they get good waves. We don't get waves over here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. If you consider 10 foot a wave.
It's good enough for me. I'm old now.
Yeah, but 10 foot's like that's the minimum over there on the West Coast.
Oh yeah. No.
That's what I'm saying. Like over here, 10 foot's a good day, like before the hurricane.
Yeah. You need hurricane.
You're getting fives. Oh, there goes Nerd Boy. I mean, Bubba Doo
Bubba Dudes in the chat says, "What's up, nerds?"
Something
showing us a picture of his new project.
His-
Bill.
nice.
we were on the game last night with him on which we game a lot, Forza. And
Oh, cool.
He was,
Oh, I played
Bubba
that
was-
a while back. Yeah, I haven't played that in forever. It's a great,
Every day.
Great game.
Every day.
It's a good stress reliever,
Hell yeah.
almost, unless you're in last and you're trying to catch up. But where did we go? Let's see, Sam Moore.
So we were talking, yeah. The music, if I heard any of
Wow.
the music that he talked about.
Yeah, man. Soul Man, I think Hold On, I'm Coming is a Sam and Dave, which they thought they almost didn't release that one because they said it sounded too vulgar, and let's see. I'm gonna look this up right now, and I should have done it earlier. When my love hand comes down, that just doesn't sound.
When
It's
my
a nice
love
way
hand,
of saying, yeah, that's a nice way of saying, I do this because I love you.
that's kind of what I was just thinking, right? I'm like, wait a
When my
minute.
love hand come
Is that
down.
like a bitch slap? That's a bitch slap. It's basically the same thing, just like
No. It's not a bitch slap because it's respectfully. It's a
it's a
pimp
love
slap.
hand.
It's a
Pimp
pimp slap.
hand. Pimp hand. Yeah,
it's like,
don't make me.
This is
I do
this
this
is
'cause I love you.
abuse. Wait, this is
This-
correction. This is abuse.
No.
Or wait,
This
I
is
don't remember
abuse. This is discipline. This is correction.
okay. I
Dear
couldn't remember
Lord.
how it goes.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
No, it was from the child abuse
And now-
classes my mom had to go through when I was young.
And now we just got canceled off of YouTube.
Yeah.
No, they made all the military wives go through it when they sent the husbands overseas.
Good Lord.
They didn't know what
Come
those
into
wives
my
were going
life.
to do.
Here's a
Come
good
back
song
and-
title for you. Queen of the Ghetto.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I
Blinded
mean,
by
they were from the
Love.
70s, right? We said the 60s and 70s.
Oh,
Yeah,
never mind. That wasn't a song about my ex-wife then.
Oh, shit.
Give Me Some
That's awesome.
Lovin'. That was Sam and Dave. Soul Sister, Brown Sugar. There you go.
Didn't they write a bunch of songs for other people?
Oh, yeah.
Where they wrote songs and somebody else made them famous.
Well, I mean, they had a 20-year career together. That's pretty crazy. You think about like
definitely.
In the music industry, like you were saying, R&B, soul, that kind of duo to stick together for 20 years. That's pretty amazing. You know, they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, all of the things, right? So it's
But yeah, so that was their top songs. I was just going through a list of How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. Mustang Sally wasn't their song. It was a Wilson Pickett song. I hate the internet sometimes. But yeah, just Sam Moore. You don't know like I know. Said I wasn't gonna tell nobody. Dang, what you these are the top 10. So you don't know like I know. That was number 10. That was one of their first string of hit singles or hot singles for Stack Records. From what I read earlier, that they signed on with Jerry Wexler from out of New York, and they were borrowed to other record companies to record.
okay.
If you don't know who Jerry Wexler was, a big time. He had his hand in Motown. He had his hand in Stax Record. He had his hand in Muscle Shoals Sound Studios with help me out with his name.
That one guy.
Lord. Hang on, I got to get the name.
I would love to help you. I have no idea.
I have no
I
idea.
see his. I was waiting for Bubba to chime in the chats too.
Well, you know, chat's
this.
slow. Bubba, what
Rick
is it?
Hall.
Rick Hall. See, too late.
Rick Hall from Fame Recording Studios.
Oh,
Jerry
Fame.
Wexler had his hand in big time.
I thought you were going to say Capitol. I was like, I don't know anybody from Capitol.
Well, he had associates in Capitol. He was
Well,
him and Phil Walden were friends too.
Yeah, I was like, Phil's the only one I've ever heard of.
You Don't Know What You Mean to Me. Number 8. 7 was When Something's Wrong with My Baby. We all been there. You Got Me Humming.
Yep.
Okay. Number 5, Hold On, I'm Coming. Number 4, Soothe Me. Number 3, Soul Sister, Brown Sugar, which is, I think, Bubba's favorite song. Number 2, I Thank You. And number 1, Soul Man.
Yep.
Rounding up the
That
top.
movie, that song's been in how many movies?
All of
I
them.
mean,
Lord
yeah,
have
you know what I
mercy.
mean? Like, you could like go down a rabbit hole just on that song being in other thing. You know what I mean? Commercials, and movies, and
background
TV shows.
noise in movies and TV shows that weren't even like
right.
Like,
I mean,
written off because it wasn't like the whole verse or anything. It's like a background noise. You could still find it in stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
to have a hit like that. Yeah.
Very, very famous. Very famous.
Was
you hear this fool behind
there's
me?
either that one or Hold On, I'm Coming. One of them was in the intro of the movie Blues Brothers.
Oh, I was reading Soul Man.
Soul Man.
Yeah, it's Soul Man.
Was it?
I was reading about that in their Wikipedia. Yeah, that was like what got those guys into creating the Blues Brothers. Was those guys.
Yeah.
At least that's what it says on that page.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh,
Which is
yeah, here
kinda-
it is right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that same the top 10 list. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of
But
crazy.
That's, so all right, let's move on to our highlight. So we did
premiere.
Happy Birthday President. Happy
Happy birthday, President.
And happy birthday to the king of rock and roll. See, in my mind, I've heard Greg Allman say this before. There's 4 kings of rock and roll, right? 2 white, 2 black.
Fair.
Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, Little Richard Penniman, and oh dear Lord, his name's right. His face is right there. I got a blank.
BB.
No, not BB King. He's the king of the
Like
blues.
literally, his last name is King.
Yeah, but he's the king of the blues,
Oh, that's
not rock.
okay. Yep. Nope. You're right.
Lord have mercy.
You just said his name earlier.
No, I did the.
When me and you were talking. Soul to Soul?
No, that's blues.
Oh, is it?
Not Robert. That's Robert Johnson.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's blues. You're right.
Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry.
Oh, okay.
Those are the four kings.
Yep.
Four kings of rock and roll.
Okay. That's fair.
Chuck Berry, Little Richard Penniman, Elvis Presley, and Jerry Lee Lewis. Which Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis were distant cousins, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's why he felt like he just thought he could crash the gate at Graceland when Elvis was there.
You gotta tell me that story. I've never heard that story.
You've never heard that story?
I have not.
You're not an Elvis fan, are you?
I mean, I like Elvis. My mom, that was my mom's favorite. Absolutely was Elvis, right? And but my mom had
that's an original 1972 concert poster from Macon, Georgia.
That's awesome.
That was my mother's.
That's great, dude. Yeah, see, that's
your
cool
mother.
shit.
That's why I'm a fan of Elvis.
That's cool. And then you start thinking about it, you're like, yeah, my mom listened to, she had album or tapes and albums and everything else, all these years or whatever. And then you kind of go, all right, after she passed away, it's like, I don't listen to Elvis on a regular, but I know him. Like, I remember when I was a little kid doing a lip sync contest for Elvis, Jailhouse Rock. It was great.
Yep.
I think we lost. We definitely lost, but we tried.
Doing Elvis in the 80s. That's kind of pushing.
Right, dude. But hey, man.
Of course, they weren't going to let you do what, Cinderella or
yeah, no, probably not. Not even
Madonna, no.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
I don't know. The Cinderella might have passed over better than Madonna at the time.
Poison, White
letting all
Snake,
these boys come
like
on
that.
stage in high heels and points.
But yeah, it was 1976. Jerry Lee Lewis was charged with public drunkenness and carrying a pistol after running his brand new Lincoln Continental into the gates at Graceland, waving a pistol and demanding to see Elvis.
Yep.
What did he want to see him about so badly is kind of the question.
Elvis got the last Cadillac in town. And,
well, I'm like, isn't Jerry Lee Lewis the one that married like his 13-year-old cousin?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is he so pissed off about?
Well, see, I think honestly, it was Jerry Lee's, and I'm not saying it's right, but just saying, I think it was his second or third cousin, but like down the
I heard
a little bit away.
I was going to say, I heard it wasn't even that related. Like it was his estranged father's
sister's cousin, uncle.
Or no, it was his younger or older sister's dad. Like same mom, different dad type thing. It was his other child or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't really care. That's
gross. Not the point of the story.
Yeah, it's gross.
But I'm still like, that's an interesting one. That's a whole show on its own, probably.
Yeah.
Jerry Lee.
And I think that's what we're gonna do.
Uncle Dad.
Once a month, we're gonna do like a true
deep dive.
Did it before, a true crime kind of associated with music artists or racing artists, racing people.
Yeah. Prohibition. There's a million different stories for all of this shit.
Lord.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see. The early morning hours of November 22nd, 76, Jerry Lee pulls up to the entrance of Graceland. We'll see. This story says Rolls Royce. I think they told him to leave. Changing. Oh yeah. So he told by security guard he's sleeping. He comes back at 9:30 and crashes the gate.
switched out his car.
Yeah, he didn't want to crash the rolls.
You want to crash the rolls? Get the Lincoln or whatever.
Go get that piece of crap
Cadillac.
Ford.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I mean, he's like, well, apparently Elvis told him to come over. It made him mad.
So he came
Well, you
over.
told me to come over, dude.
And now they wouldn't let him through the gate.
No.
Kirk
Told me to come.
later. Not right now. 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to bed.
Exactly.
Finally.
Good Lord. Now, we were talking about food earlier, cuisine. How about them fried peanut butter, banana, bacon
Sandwiches.
They're
Yeah.
delicious.
I've never had one. Nor
Oh,
would I.
dude,
I
you gotta
mean,
look.
I've never had one either.
What you do is you get some peanut butter and you put it on one slice of bread,
okay.
and then you cover that in bananas, and then you put bacon on top of that, and then you take the other slice of bread and cover it in peanut butter. Put it together and put it on the frying pan like you do.
Make it like a grilled cheese.
Oh,
I mean, I understand that sounds delicious, but I'm like, that is the notorious food that, like, they associate that with Elvis dying.
no, he's been.
I mean, of all the foods,
yeah, and that's stupid because he's been eating that since he was a kid. Since
Right.
he was before he was famous.
I remember there's a burger joint out in Arizona and Phoenix somewhere they had that. So they basically did all that with a burger, but they used 2 Krispy Kreme donuts as the buns.
Yes.
So like, okay, I get it. I get the sweet, savory. It sounds delicious, but I'm like, meh.
Speaking of burgers and wonderful custom burgers like that, we have one here, we have a burger place here in Macon. Was it Rookery?
Yep.
They have famous people burgers, and one of them is an Elvis burger, and it's peanut butter and bacon and bananas on like a prime rib.
Nice.
Burger. Or
See,
like
that sounds
rib
good.
eye or something. Like, they ground up $500 of 22 ounces of meat.
Hell yeah.
A Wagyu burger. What? No. Anyway, but yeah, they make I think they do an Almond Brother one, because another place that they used to go. They got a Jimmy Carter. I think it's got peanut butter on it.
It's got it.
It does.
Absolutely has it.
They've got a Little Richard. He's from Macon, Georgia.
How many people are from Macon, Georgia? Like that are like that. I mean, is it quite a few, or that have been associated?
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
But I don't know about quite a few.
Okay.
You know
enough
what I mean?
to make it a landmark kind of.
Otis
Okay,
Redding was born, well, like Macon proper, but he was born outside of Macon.
Yep.
Okay.
His farm is still out there. His wife Zelda, I think is her name.
Yeah.
His widow
So.
and Otis Redding the third. They still run the Big O Ranch, is what they call it.
Okay.
The Big O Ranch.
So quite a
So you
few.
got
I mean, like I said,
Otis
that's not good
Redding.
enough. That's crazy.
Jimi Hendrix supposedly had ties to Macon, Georgia. I think an aunt lived around here at some point when he was a kid. Chuck Lavelle.
Jimi Hendrix was stationed at Fort Benning too. So.
Oh yeah. Or what is it called now? Fort Moore? I don't know. Fort Benning. Anyway.
Fort Benning.
It's Fort Benning.
Yeah, let's call these bases all these names for hundreds of years or more.
And then change it because somebody is special all of a sudden.
Some snowflake gets offended and we'll change the name. Cool.
Yeah.
No.
It's like Fort Bragg.
But yeah, there's a bunch. There's Otis Redding and all Allman Brothers became very famous out of Macon. And who was the other? Little Richard. He was from Macon. He worked at a barbecue on Broadway.
Really?
Across from Armstrong Paper Plant or whatever that place is. They make the ceiling
cool.
tiles.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little barbecue place that's been there since the 60s.
It's probably
still operational. Oh God, yeah. I think they're still using the same sauce They just add a little bit more each time.
It's kind of like yeast. You just got whatever it is for
like
making bread.
Sourdough.
Yeah.
It's
It's the same strain of shit. They've never washed the bucket,
nope.
which I'm fine with. I'm totally okay with it. It's like I don't mind. Yeah,
as disgusting as that sounds, the way we say it, or the way you start thinking of it.
Totally okay.
Come on, put it on the plate.
Yeah, don't think about it. Just eat it.
Yep.
Just,
right. Yes.
Good. Give me
it's
more.
good.
100%. Yes.
But yeah, there's a whole lot of famous ties to Macon, Georgia.
That's cool.
I know. Well, you showed the Macon Coliseum poster from Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It was in 1972, but that picture is from like the late 1960s. He's young. He's young in that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, you go to the concerts, you don't just pick one poster. There's several different ones, and I think my mom just liked that one. That's why she got it.
Joe, think about the cultural impact. Like even Elvis had an influence on the Beatles in the early days. I know we brought up the Beatles earlier, but they had the leather jackets and their hair did the whole swoop-de-whoop, whatever.
Almost like greaser kind of style, pompadour.
Punk.
Early days.
Later would be called punk.
Rockabilly, punk,
Punk,
rockabilly,
slacker.
Well, that's what they called when Elvis, and a lot of people go, well, Elvis Presley stole rock and roll from the black. And I think I touched base on this before. In my honest opinion, this is my opinion. You ain't got to agree with it, but just hear me out.
No, you're
throughout
wrong.
history, throughout history, a lot of black artists, even and they didn't. What was his name? Chuck Berry. They said that Chuck Berry had hated Elvis Presley, and he didn't hate him. They actually toured together.
Quite a bit.
They supported each other back in the day, and because back then you had Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley up on stage, kind of in the same venue. In the same evening. But so Elvis loved black music. And I think what he did almost single-handedly was he brought black music, for lack of a better term, he brought the R&B soul music to the white population, to the suburbs. That's what he did. Because you got to think, this is the 50s, this is the 60s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but you had people going, well, what are you listening to that black artist for? Suddenly you're, and I ain't going to get into that, but so he introduced this whole genre of music to a population of people that weren't listening to it because of the times.
Yep.
Because of the division in the races. Now, down south, from what I understand from my grandparents and the few stories I got from my great grandparents and my uncles that everybody's done passed on now, in these poor neighborhoods where my family grew up and on the farmlands and all that, race, they didn't give a shit.
Everybody's working, everybody's
trying to live.
Poor doesn't have a color. Poor is poor.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Right. That's how it goes.
Poverty has no color.
Exactly. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
What was you going to say? You look like you were getting ready to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say in the Wikipedia again. I was doing homework. I try and do a little bit of homework every now and then, right?
Yeah.
There's this line that says, "Those performative style and promotion of then marginalized sound of African Americans led to him being widely considered a threat to the moral well-being of white American youth."
Yes.
Think about that. Because he was gyrating his hips and doing whatever the fuck. Right? Isn't that wild?
Yep.
That was a thing. Now you've got people nowadays that are like on stage, like actually dressed as the fucking devil and like doing insane shit.
Yep.
They come flying in like wrecking balls.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, of course, back then our country wasn't so
uptight.
Well,
no, they were very uptight back then.
They weren't so hurt.
Yeah, right.
They didn't need
and even back then, the rock and roll stations were different. Music.
Yeah, it was completely different. It was like very vanilla music.
Yeah.
in the 50s, 40s,
like
50s,
that.
60s, right? It was just, that's what it was. It was very jingly, think Christmas music for the summertime.
Yep.
It was kind of like chicken with no seasoning.
That's exactly what it was, right? And all the VJs or the whatever DJs sounded exactly the same.
Oh,
You know, pop, blah, 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 you know, they all had that same
Yeah.
kind of thing. My wife was asking me about
God.
that the other day. Like, did they all sound that? I was like, yeah, that was absolutely their gig, right? And
like
they,
even on television, they all
Mhm.
had the same. The men had the same cadence, and they had the same
Yep.
almost voice, and the women had the same. It was very vanilla,
Until
very
people like-
bland.
Yep.
Until people like Wolfman Jack came around.
yeah,
I was going
exactly.
to bring that up in a minute.
I love that guy.
Yeah. And then you have somebody like Elvis Presley that comes in and just kind of shatters a lot of that.
Puts a riff
And-
right through the middle of
And
it.
he's got a big ass guitar and he's playing kind of the bluesy sounding, but it's rock and roll. And, you
More
know,
upbeat.
he's swinging again, he's swinging his hips around. And he's doing these things that dudes generally didn't do. They normally just stood there. Frank Sinatra standing there with a microphone. You
Yeah.
know, think about stuff like that, right? Just
No,
different.
not-
Ernest
yeah,
Tubb.
it's just different, man. I mean,
Yep.
you know, he had in rock and roll stations wouldn't dare play Elvis. He sounds black. I'm not putting him on my radio. Well,
which is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
it's like he's
Those were
not-
the days. Those were the times, right? It's crazy.
you look back then. Now you know you got this handsome man. He's skinny. He's dark hair, which he was actually a blonde. You know, he dyed his hair.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
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 Really?
Marilyn Monroe was also brunette, and Elvis
She
was a
dyed
blonde.
her. Yep.
So
Hmm.
Yep.
Interesting.
so spoiler alert for everybody else who doesn't know.
Mom, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet
Probably-
mom knew and just never mentioned it.
Probably,
Mom.
yeah.
That's actually who I heard it from was my mother, but I was younger when she told me.
Yeah.
But I mean, you talking about the fandom, I can remember this one kid in school whose family was die hard. I'm a huge Allman Brothers fan. Now, whether you like them or not, that's on you. I'm not going to fight you over it. But I knew this
Right,
cat
yeah.
who loved Elvis so much, he was getting ready to whoop your ass if you were like, Elvis sucks. You know, even if you were joking, this kid getting ready to knock you out, man. It was like, dude, yeah.
The beat.
Sorry. I love my buttons over here.
That's great. That's why we got
But
to
this
delay.
cat was like, I was like, dude, it's you know, like I
That's
said, I
serious.
have as much as I defend Elvis in the music sense. No, we don't get into his personal life or whatever.
No. Too much of a
Um,
rabbit hole.
Lord,
We
don't have
talked
If
time.
you'd
about
like
that
to know
before.
Greg, I was say if you'd like to know Greg, I got some knowledge for you about Elvis.
Yeah,
Tell you
I think-
offline.
that's kind of part of half of the stuff I know about Elvis, just like a lot of other people, right?
Oh, okay. We
Yeah.
might need to talk later.
I start bringing Greg on our true crime nights, huh?
Dude, yeah, then I'm down. I love true crime stuff.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, when we
So-
say true crime, we're not talking about just necessarily, oh, this guy was became a murderer, it was like
No,
we
I
talked
know,
about
I know.
Mickey Thompson. It not like real crimes, but like these people were like, I hate to bring it up because I know we're tired of hearing about it, but the whole baby oil incident.
See, come on, that's a true crime.
No, it is, but it's not like the big murder mystery thing.
Who needs 1,000 gallons of that shit?
I can name two people.
I mean,
Two people.
Diddy and who else?
That lady that works at SeaWorld, they use it on some of the animals when they perform.
I don't even know where to go with that.
I wish I had a soundboard right now. But so if you think about the influence that he had on even back then, and so now you're talking about future artists and how they were like, oh, you mean we can put some flavor into our music now?
Mhm.
You know, because
We could show feeling.
right, some raw. Because I mean, look at that teeny bopper, and that's what it was. That's what I think. That's where you were the term you were kind of missing earlier, Greg, was the teeny bopper craze back in
Yeah.
the 50s, and it was very vanilla and things like that. And Hang on.
No. Put it down.
No, okay.
Bad.
But
Get off of Marketplace.
He's like, hey, that bed came up for sale. I won the bid.
Damn, that truck sold. Oh, so did that one and that one and that one.
I got a message from Deadleg.
Nice.
Tell
Josh we said hi.
Yeah. So you move up through. Let's see. Well, y'all want to talk about his cars or his music first?
His cars are dope, dude. You can either one. I pulled up his list of cars, and it's insane.
It's ridiculous.
Go ahead. Let's see what you got on the list.
All right, let me pull it. Hang on one second. So
while you're doing that, just real quick, this cultural. So you fast forward to the mid to late 90s on our Cartoon Network. If you watched it, if you had little brothers, okay, I love cartoons. I don't care. The one cartoon character that sticks out in my mind that was influenced by Elvis was Johnny Bravo.
Yes.
And if that show was on
today,
I
didn't even think of that.
his style, like visual style, and his persona of being comes from Elvis. His attitude came from somebody else, and I was trying to remember who it is. But yeah, the main basis of that character is Elvis. Yeah.
Of course, if it was out today, he'd be canceled in a heartbeat. Because good Lord, man, that show was funny.
I think we're eventually gonna swing back. We're good.
You think so?
Yeah. I think
everybody finally
it'll
calm down
ebb and flow. Yeah. I was trying to see.
And my man go, hey, Pearl Mama, you believe in love at first sight, or should I walk by again?
It's not gonna let me show it here.
You know what's sad? I've said something similar to that before. Now that you're telling me that Johnny Bravo said it, now I know where I learned it from.
You know what?
Nobody in my family that smooth.
Go out and just Google Elvis cars list on Google,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll have the list, and you can share. We can actually see the cars too, because I've got it on my phone. And I can tell you what they are, but saying like it's Stutz Blackhawk isn't gonna. You know what I mean? If you don't know what it is,
I got you. Hold on, watch this.
They're dope, man. And then his pink Cadillac, of course. There's just so many of them. Like there's a BMW. I'm like, I don't even know what a 507 is.
Yeah, what's up now? I got a whole collection. We're not going to read all of it. I'll just skip.
No, you just kind of skim through some pictures of them, but like.
But this is what I looked up earlier today because me and Bosco were talking about, what are going to be the top 10 cars.
Right.
Like, I don't have time to go through the list of cars.
Some of them, he had Ferraris, and his pink Cadillac, I think, is probably right, Bosco, the one you called out the most.
3 Corvette at one time.
Right.
Yeah, his first car was a Lincoln Zephyr, and they don't even make those anymore. But his daddy Vernon bought for him, so we're just gonna highlight that Lincoln Zephyr.
52 Lincoln Zephyr, gifted to him by his daddy.
Was it? Yeah.
Yep, so it's right there.
Oh, is that the car right there? Oh, that's cool.
That's it.
41 Lincoln.
That's his 41 Lincoln, but
he had a 55.
Okay, I got you.
Caddy. He had a 54 Fleetwood.
Look at that
somewhere in here. That pink one. Look at that thing.
That was his second one because his first one burned down. That's the 55 model that he bought later. That even though, in the funny story, even though his mom didn't know how to drive or didn't have a license, she claimed that was her car.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
He bought it for her, but he didn't have another vehicle to travel with his Blue Moon Boys band. According to this right here.
54 one passed, burned to the ground. But yeah, that one originally had a black top, and then he had it repainted white and some other things done to it. Look at that Eldorado.
That's what I'm saying. That Eldorado right there is sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, 56 Eldorado.
And then he had some fun shit.
Messerschmitt, like, come on.
The KR200 Messerschmitt.
Yeah.
There's probably what 3 of those in the United States,
Yeah.
if that. Elvis is one of them.
I think I saw Top Gear or something like that, like a while back, maybe 5-10 years ago. They were trying one of those.
That would be.
Pull up to a lady sitting in the bowling alley parking lot. Let me pull up to her in one of those, and I just meep. Hey, for the mama.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, for the mama.
Look at that BMW, that 507.
Yeah, 507. Nice.
That thing is sick.
Yeah, we need one of these in Forza. It beat all this stupid MGs and Miatas.
Yep. Can
Greg,
you bring in like skins or something like that and create cars?
You can.
It's been years since
You can put vinyls.
Okay.
On there, and you can create your own vinyls and stuff,
Okay.
and really decorate the car.
Nice.
And you can do masking with different types of paints and stuff like that. It gets really
It's pretty deep. Yeah.
I don't do that. I just drive.
Lincoln Mark V. Wasn't a Lincoln Mark V? 1960 Lincoln Mark V. Wasn't that the green arrow?
Green Hornet.
Hornet. That's it.
Yeah.
One of the green guys.
I believe it was.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it was the same kind of car used. Here's one of my favorite, and I'm not even a Ford guy. I just like the look of that car.
It's classic T-Bird.
Yeah, it's just so sharp. Very underpowered, though.
I mean, how fast can you get? What was it? 289?
Something like that. There you go. Rolls Royce Phantom 5. There's one of those in Atlanta, by the way, for sale. Saw it on Marketplace.
$500,000 or some crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
No, it was a couple of 100,000, but I mean, it's mint though.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna scratch you off a check for that.
Yeah.
No, don't scratch me check off of that. Just fix my Jeep. And do the motor swap. Oh, yeah, the Mercedes Benz. Those are basic nowadays. Anyway.
That was like his getting around town.
Yeah,
car. He probably had a driver
car
for that or whatever.
Or he showed up to a show and they, delayed the show, so he needed a vehicle while he was there.
Yeah, and he's just like, I'll be over here.
We'll just go to the Mercedes Benz place and buy another one.
Right.
Jerk.
From there, we get into the Pantera. It's a dope car.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I've actually seen 2 of those in person.
I hate to say that I actually like a Ford vehicle, but
it's a nice car, dude.
yeah.
I mean, for what it was.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just upset that it's a Ford. I'm sorry. Dude's Black Hawk 3.
That's what I was saying. Like I couldn't without a picture, I could say that, and you're never gonna know what it is.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
It's kind of funny that I know that car, but I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah. Yeah, the big old giant headlights with the little tiny fog lights that aren't
Does it
that
have
tiny.
the exhaust coming out of the side wall? I think.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Side wall and down.
Pipes.
Yep. Here, watch this.
Just envision that car with some 22s, wire spoke wheels.
That has the wire
Those wire
spokes on them.
It's got wire spokes on it, and those are legit wire spokes.
This is a pimp vehicle.
Man,
Yeah,
what are
this
you
is
talking?
straight up pimp.
Yeah.
I would
he
rock
was.
that.
Ferrari Dino 308 GT4.
That thing's worth so much.
And that one's worth more.
That's what I'm saying, because it was Elvis's.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, at Graceland, a lot of his cars are there.
And they're still mint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these aren't.
Oh,
like
I imagine.
the Ferrari, it's not there. The
That's
De
probably
Tomaso,
Yeah.
the De
those are
Tomaso
private.
Pantera is in who's the big car collector with him? Somewhat museum. It's really just storage for his vehicles.
Jay Leno.
No, Peterson. Peterson.
Yeah. Okay.
Museum. It's a family that owns all of them. If they actually own the vehicles, and the museum is just storage when they're not driving it.
I got you. Yeah,
Because they pull them out and switch out vehicles all the time. But they've got so
feel
many
like
one-offs in there.
driving this today.
Yeah.
Right.
He actually owned a hearse. He was planning ahead of time. Actually, I think that started out as an ambulance. Because most hearse didn't really have lights on the top.
Oh, I see on the top there. Yeah, interesting.
But this is the one he
Back-
took his last ride in a white Cadillac hearse.
Back then, I think ambulances and hearse were kind of the same. They didn't have two separate
They're the same, layout or whatnot. Yeah,
things.
just a different way to put a gurney in there for a different purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah, he had a hell of a car collection.
Yeah, that's
Think about
that's the
that.
top few, like top 20, or
Yeah,
no, that's only the top 16.
but I mean,
So, more than
keeping
the
in
10.
mind, the dude he died when he was 42.
Yeah,
So he really didn't have like that many years of car collecting
no,
and he still had an amazing collection of cars when you
and
think
that's
about
just his cars,
it. Right. So you
That's
go, all right.
not
He got
including.
famous at 25-ish, something
Yeah.
like that. Then he went to the army. Then he came back and had to reestablish his career again.
Mhm.
So then he had
They got
another
into movies with
10
it.
or 15 years ish to collect a pretty good suite of cars, especially for back in the day, right?
Yeah, and then that's not
And
even
he was in a movie.
including
Yeah.
and that's not even including the
Right.
2 helicopters he supposedly had, plus
Right. Yeah. And the
plus the
houses
3
in
airplanes.
Graceland and everything. Yeah.
the 3 airplanes,
Talking about a
and
super
the one that's at the museum in Graceland. There's a it's in Memphis where Graceland is. Right across the street, there used to be a museum. When I was younger, I went up there and seen all this. The plane they had in the parking lot, they found, I think it was like $10 million stuffed in the wall of that airplane.
Awesome. That's how much money the dude had. It's insane.
10 million in the 70s?
That,
And you had to stuff it in the wall?
80 million now, 100 billion now, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
But
So
it
what
sat
do you
in the
think?
wall until like the 80s.
What do y'all think? The number one Elvis. What, in your opinion, you're not. If you had to go, okay, I want to hear some Elvis. What song are you? And you take turns, whatever you want. Whoever wants to go first. What song are you gonna play first?
Probably like Jailhouse Rock or something like that. It's nostalgic to me. Right? Like that song specifically.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Yeah.
Why is it nostalgic?
Because I just remember it. Like I said, I did that lip sync to it when I was a kid. My parents used to listen to them all the time. I think it's easy to listen to, but it is also that for me, compared to like the music we hear nowadays, especially back then, my mom and dad allowed me to listen to shit like that, right? So it was cool. That's it. I would say that's the one. There are other ones, I'm just kind of looking. Burning Love. I mean, Don't Be Cruel. The guy had hit after hit after hit.
Right.
So it's like
he had albums that were hits, not songs that were hits.
Right. That too. Right. Yeah. He had whole albums.
Was good.
And then his movie career was insane.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
What about you, Turtle?
Love Me Tender.
Because I know what I'm going.
See,
with.
Another amazing one. And I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yep. And it's mainly because my first time like absorbing Elvis as being a famous person and not just something I'm hearing on the radio. Like Elvis Presley could have been a band name before this.
Right.
Was watching the movie Love Me Tender. Where he plays that young cowboy and he sings Love Me Tender. Because that's what Mama wanted to hear. I know Elvis because of my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know Elvis because of
right. But and that's what I'm saying. Like Greg's got the same kind of connection that I have with it. It's because I heard it all the time. I can't really pick one song that's better than any other song.
You could go down a list and I'm gonna be like, yeah, that one too.
I know all the words. I know all the words.
Too.
I remember that song, but I don't know all the words. But Love Me Tender has a personal
Hound Dog,
connection.
Dude.
Yeah. I had
Heartbreak
that personal
Hotel
connection with that song because that
Viva
was
Las
something
Vegas.
that I got my first visual attack of.
Yeah.
Where Greg he has a personal connection because of his karaoke contest.
Yeah.
So it's a flashback connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I think of when I think of Elvis is Love Me Tender in that movie. I don't even remember.
I can remember being a kid in Germany and watching, because over there, they're, go to Germany, set your clock back about 30 years. And in the 80s as well. So just trying to, and being like a little kid, I was sitting here and thinking about it while y'all were talking and all. And I was like, man, what was it when I was a kid? Because I can remember really liking Elvis, and everybody else was liking Michael Jackson. And
Funny enough,
for
he
me,
marries
it
his
was,
daughter.
yeah. And for me, it was just like, like you brought Jailhouse Rock, Hound Dog, which is another
Controversial.
very controversial song, because it was originally recorded by Memphis Minnie. The old blues. Yeah, that was like some serious blues. She was
Like mid 50s, wasn't it? Or early 50s?
Early 30s, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He made it
That's right.
popular, though.
Yeah,
He did.
well, he just re-recorded it in his style, based off of her style. Like, he didn't, like, torture the song or nothing, but he kind of modernized it, if you will.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Picked up the pace on it or whatever he did. Yeah.
Like Leonard Skinner's Simple Man by Shinedown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't murder it, but they did it in their style.
Different style. Yeah. Makes sense.
But I mean, like the Allman Brothers.
So many people
Allman Brothers did Statesboro Blues, and that was a Blind and Willie McTell song. And they heard it. Dwayne heard it from Taj Mahal on the Magic Mushroom album, and then Dwayne got inspired to start playing slide guitar. And then bam, here we got the most noted Statesboro Blues version. So you hear Hound Dog, you automatically think Elvis Presley.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was more like, and then like later on in life, I hear this song, and one of my favorites is American Trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off real slow and cool with his version of the song Dixie, and it kind of goes into the the battle hymn and all that. So it's to me, that one, American Trilogy, for me personally, I think, because I was going through a real weird time in life. I think it was more like I just became a dad at 17, and I was trying to figure things out, and I was just I remember hearing it when it clicked. I remember hearing it the first time. It was July 4th, 1998. So 3 days before my birthday, just before I hit 18. And I hear it, and it was late at night too. And I was like, for some reason, it hit me. I heard Jailhouse Rock and Heartbreak Hotel and all the other things growing up. But that one was like, it's kind of like I was kind of discovering Elvis Presley again.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I actually did listen to it on Elvis's birthday a couple of days ago.
To Turtle's point, it's like there's a connection somewhere for some reason to that dude. And you're like, and he's been dead for how many years and all of these things. And it's 2025 now, and it's 50 years since he passed away, or 50 something years.
All right, stop. My
but it's true.
Gone, all right.
Dude, I think I'm the oldest one in this group right here, and it's before I was born. So
it was definitely
1972, right? So yeah, you kind of go, holy crap. I mean, and there's still a connection.
In 77, so
yeah, so you're
not far off, but pretty dang close.
Was it August 77?
Was it 77?
16th.
It was 77. I thought it was 72.
77. Yeah.
Okay.
72 is when the poster came from.
That's okay. There you go.
So might have been one.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
It's still mint too. It's awesome.
And to get into some weird stories, I guess. Before we wrap this up, because I know we're hitting a little long here, but his whole life, he said that he always felt a spiritual connection, and I don't know if y'all ever listen to any of his gospel stuff. I did, and he has one killer Christmas album, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Got it on vinyl behind me on one of those shit.
His gospel, Dude, I remember going to sixth grade in elementary school. In sixth grade, they said, bring whatever you, and at the time I was listening to Elvis Presley's Christmas on cassette because I was poor and I didn't have CDs. So
I was still using vinyls because I couldn't afford
Nothing wrong with
cassettes.
but I was just trying to joke around about that. But anyway, so I brought my Elvis Christmas cassette, and then the kids in the class they had fun with me. They picked on me. Elvis, all these other kids wanting to listen to whatever was hip hop, blah,
The
blah,
current
blah,
day
blah.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice was out at the time. I remember
Bobby Brown.
Yeah,
Dude, I've got a tape case somewhere around here. I got all that shit in. Yeah.
Crisscross, I think, was popular.
Yeah. All those guys.
Yeah, this is like
Make it
92.
back, Daddy.
Yeah. Yep. See? Yeah.
But I was one, I was listening to Elvis, his Christmas album, and I brought it. We listened to it. She played it throughout before our little Christmas party. She played it all day up until it got to be Christmas party time. But to me, the Blue Christmas song and all that, but his gospel stuff, good Lord. And I've actually seen some of his videos where you can really tell, like, he really wasn't trying to put on a show for the fans. He was really, whether the drugs or whatever else he had issues with and all the other health issues he was struggling with, divorce from Priscilla, you could tell, like, his inner turmoil. He's praying, he's worshiping, in his gospel stuff. And to me, it was just like, if you slow down and listen to his gospel and see his backup singers and his the male part, I think he had female backup singers and they had the guys in the band, but it was pretty heavy stuff, man. He was born a twin. His brother his brother didn't make it. His twin brother didn't make it. And I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. I said it the other day in a little. Yeah, Jesse Garin Presley. But he was stillborn, about a couple hours before Elvis was. Oh, sorry, 35 minutes before. I thought it was like a couple hours. My bad. So, yeah, he always kind of made sure that he held his brother's spirit along with him. And he would always say something like that he always felt his brother's spirit in everything he was doing. Mm-hmm. Twins were kind of like that, but
my brother, for some reason, he said something.
Oh, yeah.
2 sets.
Yeah, that's right. You said 2 sets. Yeah.
Yep.
But
yeah, they're close.
And all his struggles and everything that we don't really get into on this show. He would. Good Lord, his eating habits and his health and drinking and doing drugs and all that. It didn't help him in the long run.
Nope.
But I will say this on behalf of me, I'll say, and I'm pretty sure Turtle feels the same way. I'm pretty confident you should feel the same way, Greg. And I'll put this out there. If anybody out there listening to this show, watching this show, comment below, shoot me an email. I don't care however you get in touch with me. We all have our struggles. I'm dealing with some struggles. I'm working through some struggles right now. It ain't nothing is ever too hard to deal with in life. And if you're struggling, seriously, reach out to me, reach out some way to Turtle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Greg, he's got his show, no matter what it is, man.
Yep. So 100%. Anybody can always reach out to me. I've got a million different socials out there. You can always find me. My wife also, like, there's plenty of ways to get in touch with people. And then I can always help get you in touch with other people if you need it. You know what I mean? So
I think hearing the go ahead, Turtle. Sorry.
And I've always got duct tape, tarp, and a shovel. Just saying.
I mean, that's of course that's like a given.
Thank you for bringing the comedy with that. I know we're kind of getting deep and serious, but
I mean, we can get as deep as we need to, but won't do it by
that's
myself.
the levity we need in life today. So it's good.
Yeah, man. But I just want anybody to know, seriously, I know I'm struggling with stuff. Turtle knows personally. He's close with me.
He's addicted to video games.
Let's cut the cord. Cut the cord.
I can't help it. I'm a car guy. I love my races.
I'm ready to go.
Is that your controllers? Nice.
Oh, you can see the setup.
Yeah.
I have to send you a picture through Bosco. Let him send it to you.
Yeah. But so we talked about our cars and our music and our favorite things about Elvis, and it was happy birthday, Elvis. Rest easy, Mr. President, and carry on, Mr. Moore. We're grateful for Sam and Dave's music as well. Y'all got anything else before we wrap this thing up?
And that nice young lady from the big house.
Oh yeah,
Miss Janice.
Miss Janice. Yes.
But
yeah, thanks so much for having me on. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on.
Fun time.
Anytime.
We got to break down some more true crime episodes, and we could probably bring those back once a month.
Yeah, hit me up sometime for sure.
I think it's pretty interesting to kind of cover
how far you can go or how deep you can get. Oh yeah,
get out rabbit holes all day long, right? Sweet.
Greg, for those who don't know, where can they find you once again before we wrap this up?
Cool. You can go out to YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, Spotify. You can look up the Bars Open with Beth and Greg out there on pretty much any channel. Similar to yours, like iHeartRadio, it's on all of them, right? You can get there. And then Instagram, Greg LaMontagne. You can find me pretty easy out there. Facebook, all the places. So yeah, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Forever Road Podcast, iHeart, Spotify, YouTube Music, Pandora. No, Amazon Music. I hadn't figured out Pandora's link yet, but I will figure it out at some point. Catch us live every week right here. Find me on Instagram at Podcast Forever Road, because when I shut down the first Instagram page and I brought it back, but I couldn't get the name right. Anyway, so search Forever Road Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Forever Road Podcast at gmail.com. Like and subscribe, and go into your settings and click automatic download. Share this with anybody out there watching. So, Turtle, where can they find you?
Right here. No, the only thing I've got is Twitch. You can find me at the God Turtle.
Nice.
On Twitch.
Yep. Watch him game and feed everybody gapple sauce.
Yes. Take him to Gapplebee's, get him a Gapple crown and choke.
A Gappletini. But all right. We will see y'all next week where we cover, I don't know yet. I have to think about it. But all right, everybody. Let me find where did it go? They moved things on StreamYard. There we go.
Just moving things around the yard, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was under banners, and now it's under media assets. All right. We are out of here. One more thing. Y'all know that one 501c3 is very important to us. Operation Tackle Box. The fundraiser for the side by side was over with. Y'all go check out Operation Tackle Box. I was gonna wait. I was wondering if can't go without the ad read. It's a free ad read that we usually do. They do a lot of help for our military veterans struggling with PTSD. Maybe you're struggling to talk like me. But yeah, it is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Operation Tackle Box. They reach out. It's Healing Through Reeling, and I'll let Brother Turtle read it because I can't read it from this small screen.
Why you got to do that to me? I wasn't even paying attention. So, Operation Tackle Box is a 501c3 nonprofit that was started by a gentleman named Jacob Watkins. He was a former Army Special Forces or Special Operations, one of those two. He came home and was really lost. He couldn't find out who he was as a civilian. Life just wasn't working. His father told him, "Go fishing. Just get out of here. Here's the keys to the truck. Boat's already hooked up. Go fishing." And it was that day that he realized that that was his healing. That's what he needed. And so he started sharing that with other veterans, started this nonprofit, and he takes veterans fishing. He helps them through dark times or, close to dark times, or just helps them, learn about their demons and help them with their demons or whatever. And he also helps with getting some of these veterans through the VA. But he started this nonprofit to help boost the morale, not just with the veterans that he's working with, but with all veterans, trying to get everybody to stand up for each other and not just trying to get them to stand up for themselves. This is one of the events that he did. That was a big event. They took a charter boat out, did some deep sea fishing.
Very cool.
But great organization. It's veteran owned and operated, and everything that he gets through this Operation Tackle Box goes right back into Operation Tackle Box. It is a complete nonprofit, and when he starts getting too much in donations, he actually turns it off. He doesn't just keep collecting, because as soon as he gets money in there, he goes buys. Because every time he takes a veteran out fishing, he gives them a rod and a reel and a tackle box with tackle in it, 2 shirts and a hat.
Nice.
Like he tries to show you, look, this is my own money that started this. It's all volunteer that's making this happen. We're here for you. Don't forget about us. If you need something, call us. It's not just fishing.
That's great.
So that's Operation Tackle Box.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that with me, with everybody else.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And they do have a donate.
Yeah.
Yep. You can also not even just donate, but if you go on there, you can get some super sweet merch, shirts, hats, hoodies. I think decals, maybe. Did they do decals yet?
He has small ones right now.
Okay.
50-cent piece size.
But there again, it goes to the organization.
Yep. And
they do a lot of good for our veterans. I've got a lot of family members who served. So does Turtle and Greg. So yeah, y'all go check out Operation Tackle Box, operationtacklebox.org. Find them on Instagram, Operation_Tackle_box, or maybe _Tackle Box.
It's on their webpage.
And Facebook. Yep, it is on their webpage. So, all right, that's it, folks. We will see y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same dad time, same dad channel.
Same dad time, same dad channel. There we go. That's
sweet.
All right, let me play this.
Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Greg, for being here. Y'all go check him out, and we're out of here.
Thanks for riding with us on the Forever Road podcast with Bosco. Hey, you can find and follow us at Instagram and Facebook, or just drop us a line or a question anytime at foreverroadpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time on the Forever Road podcast.